um, diminished somehow the space for independent media, and we are working now to enhance their capacities so that they can produce more media content, local media content produced by local journalists, so that we have really good information. I will stop here probably, and I'll give the floor to Mihail, because probably Mihail will give the perspective from the journalistic side.
Well, thank you very much. Just to add a little bit. Well, from one side, answer can be very simple. From the other side, not really. The simple answer is that why Russia is succeeding, and why Russia is succeeding in Gagauzia in particular, and not only in Gagauzia, but among the Russian-speaking community of Republic of Moldova, and the Russian-speaking community of the Republic of Moldova is much bigger than Gagauzia, yeah, for example. It includes also, by the way, Ukrainians which are living in the north of Republic of Moldova. They consider themselves as Russian speakers. Bulgarians, which are also living in the south of Republic of Moldova. So it's a community about 20-25% maybe. Yeah? And why Russia is succeeding, again coming back to Gagauzia. Well, first of all, because almost 25 or 30 years, the people that are believe in democracy think that everybody believes in democracy. But unfortunately, there are some parts that not really believe in democracy, and they share the idea of Vladimir Putin that the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe in the world. And all these years they wanted a revenge, maybe, yeah, so, and Russia was supplying them with this kind of sentiment. For example, if we talk about Gagauzia, all 30 years after the independence of Republic of Moldova, Gagauz community lived under the influence of Russian propaganda. So there was a Soviet propaganda, there was a collapse of the Soviet Union, and people were still watching Russian television. And they were transforming, and their opinion was transforming together with the transformation of the Russian propaganda. And they were absorbing all these ideas, all these messages, all these narratives that the Russian propaganda was sending. And they were feeding the Gagauz community, and not only Gagauz community, Russian-speaking community, with different kind of content. With the news content, political content, talk shows, entertainment, divertisement, and so on and so forth. And since 2014, we can see how Russia weaponized the divertisement as well, yeah, entertainment. So you see the entertainment talk shows, and you see how the certain narratives in jokes and so on and so forth are promoted there. And people were absorbing everything. And we now understand that the television is a very expensive toy, right? It requires a lot of resources. And we see how much Russia is investing in television and propaganda and production of content. Only Russia today, 5 years ago, got 80 milliards of rubles, yeah, which is enormous amount of money. It's only Russia today. So, and on the other side, the Republic of Moldova, unfortunately, these 30 years did not fill this space with its own television, with its own narratives. So actually, the Gagauz community was left at the disposal of Russian Federation, Russian propaganda. Again, so in order to have a successful television, first of all, you need to produce a lot of content, and this content should be very much qualitative, which is very expensive. Yeah, and we lost these 30 years. Russia already formed the priorities of the people, formed the taste of the people, what kind of content to consume, and now it will be very much difficult. So Ukrainian example, starting from 2014, they started very decisively to fight with Russian propaganda. They just cut the Russian television and they cut the Russian social media. And we see that it helped to consolidate Ukrainian society in 10 years from 2014 till 2020. So, and we need to think what will be the solution in the Republic of Moldova. But again, today we still have a situation when in Gagauzia, Russian propaganda is broadcasting, although part of the Russian news shows and political talk shows are prohibited, but they are still broadcasting in Gagauzia. And unfortunately, majority of people are supporting Russian narratives and supporting Russia in this aggression. And we still try to fight with that with a democratic, let's say, democratic attitude and approach. And my question, how long we will tolerate that? And we need to, again, coming to my main idea, we need to be more defensive in order to protect democracy from those who are trying to use democratic institutions and democratic instruments in order to undermine democracy.
Thank you, Mikhail. Thank you, Daniela. We still have some questions, please. Here.
So, thank you very much. My name is Salomea Romanescu. I'm a diplomatic counselor for European affairs. And all my life I study about peace because my name in translation means peace. So I have to address a question to all people here and to think about violence in both theocracy, dictatorship, and even democracy. We deal with a kind of violence, of aggressivity. Just look in Czech Republic, the attempt against the Prime Minister. And the cause, we have to address the root of the causes of this violence. I mean, the polarization, not polarity of international system, but polarization means many poor people and a small amount of rich people, if we can say like this. And we don't have a middle class, we destroy a middle class. This is a question how we can address by democracy, and especially direct and participatory democracy, this question of violence. Maybe you have to think to India and to Mahatma Gandhi. Ahimsa means the lack of violence, non-violence, in all means. Just to reflect on this, everybody, and try to find the solutions. And maybe I can give you some hints. Here I wrote a book in 2000 about humane security. Yesterday we had a wonderful ex-prime minister from not prime minister, a minister from Japan, and she addressed this integration of humane security or human security into sustainable development. In this way, I think that we can have a broader definition of peace and democracy. Peace is not only the absence of war, peace also is at the soul level. We lose our health, we lose our prosperity and happiness if we do not have the peace of our soul. It's time to think about our soul, that we are beings with soul, and this is our quantic field, fundamental field, and we are all links at the soul level.
Thank you.
We are a unity. Thank you very much. Just I would like to have some reflection from the panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I will have a reflection on this because I'm also somehow thinking a lot about peace and about war and about what is happening in our region at least. I had some discussions several years ago with my Swedish colleagues in Moldova, and we discussed a lot about peace in general before the Russia invaded Ukraine. And I got the feeling at that moment that we are quite living in a comfortable zone, not thinking about war. Because
as I mentioned
yes,
a little bit
yes.
before.
So I think that we are taking democracy as granted, and this is not already the case. I think all over the places in the world. And we need to educate ourselves in a new way, because we have artificial intelligence, because we have different very complicated and sophisticated propaganda tools. We have polarization, and we have a lot of conflicts between people, and I think this is the point to be addressed. And this is all linked to peace, and this is all linked to human security, and this is all linked to our world in general. I'm not speaking here about Moldova or Ukraine. It's a complex worldwide situation that we need to sit down all together and think more, because we have a lot of challenges to be addressed. So education would be the key.
Thank you, Daniela. We can have one more question. Andrei, here. Here, yes.
Hi, I'm Sophie Baratio from Switzerland. I have a question to Mikhail. I don't know if it is a good idea, but I'm trying to find solution against propaganda. And my assumption is that people don't want war, but propaganda prepare the country to the war. And I would like to have so the idea is that possible that a network of people sharing testimony from all countries, testimonies about their life and what they think, could be a good tool against propaganda.
Michael von der Lohe aus Deutschland, from Germany, from the NGO Omnibus. I have the question, if you think that you're speaking about defending democracy, do you think democracy can be defended by representative democracy?
This was the question for all of us, right? Yes. Okay. So then, first question. Of course, it can be the solution. So to share our testimonies and to share our, let's say, views on democracy. And now we have a, let's say, struggle in the Republic of Moldova, discussion, I don't know, yeah? So we will talk more about, let's say, that the European Union is good and the European Union is much better than, let's say, the system that is promoting Russia, then the freedom is better than non-freedom, yeah, like was the saying of Dmitry Medvedev, yeah, so semi-president of Russian Federation at once, right? But the problem is that you are right. Propaganda was preparing the people for the war, and Russian propaganda, unfortunately, was preparing it for the long time, and we, for the long time, were not reacting to it. Everybody was thinking that actually that's not serious. I mean, he's a rational guy. I mean, Putin. He would not start the war. Why should he start the war? Everything is good. There is a trade. He's selling gas to Europe. Europe is paying money for it. Actually, yeah. So why should he start the war? But he started the war. So I think that we cannot explain all these things with some rational things. So there is something. He started the war. He prepared the society. First, he started to depoliticize the people, so actually starting the people to not interested with the politics at all, and I think it's the most dangerous thing, when the society is depoliticized, when the society is not interested with the politics. So which means that actually people are not interested, people are not engaged, and then there comes the moment when he starts to mobilize the people, yeah, for the war, usually, what he started to do. Same with the Belarus, yeah, so he depoliticized the people. People are not interested with the politics at all, and and he can do whatever he wants. The same with Georgia. We see that actually from the reports that actually it's for the first time for the last 10 years maybe, the young people started to interested with the politics, because the last 10 years they were not interested at all. What's happening in the country, who is governing the country, and so on. So, and that's the good space for preparing people for the war. And unfortunately, again, yeah, we were asleep a little bit, too relaxed, and he was preparing the communities not only inside the country, but also outside the Russia, including in the Republic of Moldova, that are actually looking to Russia for that war. And now we see that you have a big amount of people, at least 23%, I guess, according to the polls in the Republic of Moldova, that's supporting the Russian aggression against Ukraine. And because we were not active, because we were not fighting back, because we were thinking that it's not serious, but it's all of a sudden became serious. and now we need to deal with it.
Thank you, Mikhail. Daniel.
Yeah, just to address about the human stories, I think this is a good idea.